Tracking livestock cost effectively is a necessity, not a luxury, for biosecurity, for market access and compliance, for discerning buyers and consumers. BeefLedger has developed world-leading solutions based on Australian best practice and know-how. Our award-winning team uses blockchain and related technologies to improve data integrity and transparency. Through these combined experiences and capabilities, BeefLedger is confident that it can deliver a scaffolded solution to the South African L.I.T.S ambitions, and in a cost-effective manner. We have completed a number of field research activities over the last 6 months, working with leaders in industry to identify problems and how our new technology designs and solutions can address these. Our journey has seen our team understand the diversity of the livestock raising sector, from large-scale, systematic and integrated operations through to smaller producers in the informal economy. In each case, the technological challenges vary, and we need to design solutions to meet the different situations. To ensure scalability and cost-effective design and implementation, the BeefLedger team leverages world-leading R&D with research institutions and universities. We have adapted a universal supply chain, accounting and data schema to underpin the solution, and which ensures it is interoperable across different jurisdictions and operations. The extent to which RFID tags are used to identify and track cattle varies considerably. Many producers continue to use visual tags only. This impacts the ways in which we can fast track the digital tracking of assets, in this case, livestock. We need to ensure that asset registrations can be done in many different ways, from integrated RFID scanning solutions through to uploading of CSV files, and even the possibility of using photographs to maintain a record. Not everywhere has great internet coverage. Some places don't have any at all, which means the solution must work whether or not there's network coverage. And of course, there is a need to comply with regulatory requirements and, where applicable, export protocols to enable successful market access. The movement of livestock is a critical activity in complex supply chains in the beef industry, and introduces challenges in ensuring appropriate tracking and tracing capabilities. Documentation supporting the movement of livestock is predominantly manual in nature, with different vendors and participants using custom documents that suit their particular business situation and history. A scaffolded approach was needed to support the ongoing use of paper-based documents and to provide a choice to migrate towards a fully digital solution. BeefLedger has done that in Australia already, and the solution can be customised for the South African environment. Our research journey took us into processing facilities and deboning operations. A key challenge and question we get all the time is how can we track a final portion of beef or packet of mince back to a particular animal? The challenge actually involves 3 distinct dimensions. First, there is a workflow design issue. Most processing facilities and deboning operations arrange processing in a linear fashion. Each workstation along that line is responsible for processing a certain cut or a small number of cuts. As cuts from multiple carcasses are amassed, it becomes impossible to be certain about which cut came from which carcass. workflow modification is required to build stations around entire carcasses if the aim is to improve the ability to trace an individual portion of meat back to an individual animal. The second dimension is the role of technology itself. A host of RFID and associated tracking and scanning systems have been designed globally to enable the tracking of hooks and lug boxes and carcasses and portions of beef. Integrating the right technical tracking with workflow design is critical to improving traceability during the process. And this must be done carefully to minimize disruption to workflow and to ensure streamlined interoperability with existing information technology systems. Aside from tracing hooks and boxes and carcasses, tags on carcasses can also be integrated to these other data points. Of course, there is still room for slippage and error, or worse. DNA and other scientific testing can also deliver greater certainty of provenance of any particular cut of meat. Which raises the third dimension, that of the economics of solving the question. Our experience is that there is always a technical engineering solution to any question. It's a bit like asking an engineer whether a bridge can be built to get to the other side of the canyon. The answer is always yes, depending on the investment. And thus, the third dimension is whether or not the economics of the solution is fit for purpose. Not all cuts of meat or breeds of cattle demand that level of precision and granularity in traceability, and thus it is important to design the solution to meet the requirements of the specific market and the expectations and needs of the buyers and the regulators. Unfortunately, our research journey did not extend beyond the deboning room and bulk packaging, but in the Australian and China marketplaces, we have tracked product all the way to final finished portions. The Australian experience enables our team to draw from world leaders in traceability and systems integrity in an industry that increasingly depends on credible credence claims and supporting documents. The Australian experience has enabled us to design and build a solution platform that supports multiple accreditation processes and associated documents. We can do the same for the South African industry and for the industries of surrounding countries, delivering a digitalisation of a L.I.T.S solution at a fraction of the cost of starting from scratch. An app deployed to a smartphone can be activated by anyone in the supply chain involved in dealing with livestock. Livestock assets can be registered using either an upload of a .csv file or by a series of photographs of the assets in question. Consignments can be created with individual livestock registered for the journey. Applicable documentation can be selected, and forms can then be completed either by way of taking photographs of traditional paper-based documents, or we can deliver smart forms based on the selections made, enabling direct digitalisation of key consignment data. The data is stored on the app until the phone is connected to the internet. Then the data is pushed to the blockchain for security and future auditability. The consignment management process sits at the heart of a cost-effective livestock traceability solution. The BeefLedger app can now be modified and customised based on our experiences in Australia and other countries and our research in South Africa to suit the specific requirements of any operating jurisdiction and requirement, whether it's for domestic purposes or for export compliance. The BeefLedger solution is ready today for customization based on the specific requirements of industry users, industry groups, or regulators. The power of blockchain data systems is that there is no single point of failure or vulnerability. This delivers an information architecture that all stakeholders can be involved in and which delivers security for all involved. Blockchain technology is growing rapidly globally. China is a global leader, having invested almost 500 million USD in 2020 alone in the sector to push its development and application in areas such as global supply chain management and market access governance. The BeefLedger team reaches across the globe with connectivity into the China environment, enabling us to work with you to open up new markets and streamline compliance and trade. And that means growing value, delivering safer products, and creating employment well into the 21st century. We look forward to working with you.